Miami and Florida State. I think that we've had a lot of debate across college football, rightfully so. Like, who's the best team in the country? And Miami had a chance to answer that question right off the bat against Florida State. They've had a really good schedule up until this point. That's why I feel like Miami is the best team in the country. But they've had a good chance to prove it against a good FSU team to go on the road because people wanted to see that. And interested to see how Florida State responded from the overtime loss to they come back out. How about the first drive, man? Florida State, you know, it's so hard to prepare for Florida State because, like, you can go as fast as you want in practice. You can't replicate how they live. And that, unless that's what you do, you can't replicate it. And that first drive, man, they go 78 yards, like right down the field. Miami bows up in the red zone, forces them to kick a field goal. Felt like they kind of got it back and won some of that first possession back because obviously, you know, Florida State kind of had their way with the tempo. Get the stop, get the field goal. From that point on, 78 yards in that drive until the fourth quarter, till the start of the fourth quarter. The rest of that, FSU barely had 100 yards. Miami's defense flying around. We talk about the ends. We talk about them getting to the quarterback. How about like the trick plays of Florida State? That's one thing that they do exceptionally well, as well as anybody in the country, is when Gus dials those up. It looked like Miami had 13 players on the field sometimes. I mean, the speed was so impressive. Like, they've just got so many guys that they continue, you know, to rotate in and out that are fast, that are physical. They're trying to destroy you. And the turnovers obviously were the biggest difference in the ball game. Did Miami get conservative? Yes, that's what they do, right? When they get up, they get conservative. But they were flying around. They were physical. They forced 3 turnovers, and it was the 2 INTs. It was the 1 fumble. And then it was just they take advantage of it. And, you know, me and Brent talked about it this week. We talked about the deep ball for Carson Beck. You think it worked? I'd say it worked all right. And I would say Malachi Toney is pretty much – he's entered that conversation for one of the best receivers in the country, and he's probably the best freshman football player in the country. Just continues to make play after play. I mean, so good, so explosive. After the catch – the deep ball. I think the thing that's most impressive with him is he can catch the short ball and he can take it to the house. He even slipped on one of those touchdowns he caught and still took it to the house. He took another one to the house that got called back, but like big time throws by Beck. But I think it's the intermediate passing game. It's the short passing game. Like, they really did a good job attacking. I think Florida State's issue, they're like, we're going to crowd the box. We're going to stop the run. Like, 100% going to do that. And Brent, they did it. They got up in the box, Brent. They were physical, but Carson Beck and Toney were on the same page, and they made plays at the right time with the sudden change and did just enough of the deep ball and the explosive plays to keep Florida State off balance.
We've talked about it before, I think I've mentioned at least before earlier in the season about how Toney is the perfect receiver for Carson Beck because of how he wins instantaneously at the line of scrimmage, and Beck gets the ball out fast all the time. Now, one thing you mentioned about Florida State and how they went fast early, got down the field, got stopped, and then the trick plays. Yep. That was, to me, I looked at this game as a philosophical miss from Florida State. Because to me, they played this game like there was only one half. I felt like they should have, because the other team, you know, Miami was more physically dominant in the way they can do things. I feel like Florida State should have been like, okay, we can live with, you know, 3 yards here, 3 yards here. And they kept going east-west and trying to hit hit the big trick plays versus just staying in the game.
I hear you. I hear you, and I understand exactly what you're saying. And obviously, hindsight is always 20/20. But this is who Florida State is.
Yes.
You can't ask them to change who they are. The reason they're so dynamic is because of the reverses. It's because of the flea flickers. They do such a good job of like making you guard the whole field and catching you off balance and then wearing you out with that tempo. Here's the thing, man. Like, they're running their flea flickers and their tosses. Miami's so daggum fast, and they're in the backfield so quickly. It's like, holy cow, like they already got Pie the first fake, and they're in the backfield getting to the quarterback. It's not just 3 and 4. Like when you start to see, you got Fitzgerald in the back end, who's a true freshman, who's now got 3 picks. You got Jacoby Thomas, who's flying around. Like, you've got speed all across the board that hunt, that play with bad intentions. So I understand what you're saying, but they try. I think the best chance they had, honestly, the best thing they did was run it up the middle a little bit. Like they did a good job.
I thought of running at them. Right ahead.
But then guess what? You turn the football over a couple times. Carson Beck puts it on you. You get in a passing situation with Miami. I don't care if you're Ohio State. I don't care if you're the best college football team that was ever constructed. When you get in passing situations, you are in trouble because they pin their ears back and they hunt. And they hunt like they ain't never ate before, man. Like, it was absolutely fantastic. And you got to give Cristobal a lot of credit, man. Like, it looks different. It looks like it's been building, and it looks like now they got the DC covered. They got the OC covered. They got the right players. They got the experience. And listen, you got to give coaches all time to develop and grow. Just like Kirby. Kirby wasn't one of the best coaches in the country when he started at Georgia. Was he an elite recruiter? Yes. Was he an elite defensive coach? Yes. Did he learn how to manage the game? Like 100%. Like, that's a big part of it. But I just think that Miami is definitely proven to me they're the best team in the country so far this season.
I personally wouldn't go that far, but I understand that. But think about how beautiful their schedule has set up for them this year. You talked about, hey, it's like they knew that they were going to be 13 guys on the field. They had a week, they had an extra week to prepare. And now they get another week off and then play a Friday night game against Louisville. And I would borderline, outside of just some wonkiness, either at SMU or at Pitt late when it's freezing cold, I'd almost put them in pen as an undefeated regular season team.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do that for anybody this year because I just like when we opened the show, man, like I don't think anybody's good enough to say that. I just don't, because I think everybody can have a bad week. Now, like, I think the teams that we're saying that are the best teams in the country, if we're talking about Ohio State and we're talking about Miami, like, what their defense is going to bring. And injuries happen. And here's the thing. Let's not act like this thing is static. Let's not act like this season doesn't change. Miami is the clear winner in the first part of the season to me. Like, it's clear. They've played a good schedule. They've played a really good schedule up until this point. They've been extremely dominant up until this point. That's why, to me, they're the number 1 team in the country.